Good afternoon. Welcome to the live stream. Today we are talking or answering the question, why don't I just tell you what to do? There's a lot of people who've been asking in the group that we run, why don't I give specific methods to exactly step by step what they should be doing? And there's a very, very good reason for it, which I'm going to go into now. But first off, let me just explain. Every week we have an online community open to all. It's free, where every week what I do, I trawl through and I have a look at the best questions that have been asked that week, and I take them out and I answer them here live, so we can go into them deeper, so you guys can ask me questions, so we can take it further from there. And this time today, this is the question I'm answering. Why don't I go into the methods of what you actually need to do? Some people think, is it because you want to force us to buy your paid programs? Other people, is it because you don't know what you're talking about? Or other people, maybe it's because it's just not what happens. But I want to kind of put all that to bed today and explain to you exactly why it is. So if this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, like wherever you are, Facebook, whatever, join the page, join the channel, so you get more of these videos. But what I want to dig into today is this. It's the idea behind methods and principles. Okay, and this is really, really important. So let's take a really, really obvious example, one that's quite pertinent to a lot of people. Let's look at weight loss. The principles of weight loss stay the same, more or less. I mean, they change slightly as science updates, but they stay the same. And I'm talking about weight loss, but this could equally apply to exercise, performance, mental health, whatever. It's the same idea. So the principles of weight loss, we could say, are hormone balance, stress, insulin resistance or sensitivity, toxic load, nutrient value of the food that you eat. All those are principles. And notice I do not mention calories. It's a very good reason for that, but that's another video. And I've done another video on that, which you can check out. But that for me isn't a principle. Now, so they're the principles. Let's take one. Okay, let's take stress. If you're mega stressed, you're never going to lose weight. Okay. Now, what are the methods to that? Well, the methods will vary very much person to person. So, if you've got a person who's stressed because they're a CEO who's working 18 hours a day, the exact methods to accomplish the principles will differ from if it's a menopausal woman, for example, who's stressed out because of the changes her body's going through, or someone who's got a massively high toxic load, or someone who's just stressed because of existential stress, financial crisis. They don't know if they can pay the rent. They're going bankrupt. The stress is going to be very, very different for each person. So for me to come onto YouTube or Facebook or one of these platforms and say, okay, I've got the perfect solution, just do one of these methods, that will appeal to a certain amount of people. But some people will take that method, do it, and it will have absolutely no effect. And there's some people that will go backwards because it just adds another level of stress. And if I'm telling you, okay, well, first thing you've got to do is balance your hormones, but your hormones are perfectly balanced. It's the problem that your boss keeps screaming at you that makes you stressed. That trying to balance your hormones is going to make you more stressed. So it's just adding more fuel to the fire and making you go backwards. So it's not that I don't want to go into methods, and not that I never go into methods. It's that methods I try and reserve for people when I'm actually coaching them, when I know the person, when I understand the situation, and I can recommend the best method based on their exact situation. If I were to go onto YouTube, Facebook, or whatever social media platform and start banging on about methods and you've got to be doing this and this and this and this and this, I'm going to misguide probably more people than I'm going to actually help. So again, what I try and cover on these social platforms and much more is the principles. Yeah, and as Janik says there in the chat, it's this idea of if you can teach a man to fish rather than give him a fish. If you can teach a man to fish, he can go and feed himself for the rest of his life. If I can get across the principles, then hopefully, you guys can go away and work out what methods are going to work best for you. And if not, that's what I'm here for. Come and hit me up, jump in one of my coaching programs, or, best off, download my free book, my new latest free book at this link just down here below, go.tantrumex.com/post-40-secrets. What a mouthful. Go and download that, and that gets you started on this. And this is particularly pertinent for those of us who pass 40. Why? Because as we get older, this is kind of my target market, working with people who are 40 plus. Why? Because as we get older, these things get a bit harder. When you're 20, it doesn't matter. You can go out and you can do whatever you want, and your body just works. As we get a bit older, we've been around the block a few times. Our bodies don't react in quite the same way, and we need a bit more help. So again, if you do need the help, that's what the coaching program's for. But jump in and grab the post 40 secrets here. Okay, I've got a few questions here in the chat. So Dan118 asks, how can I know which methods to best implement? Great question. And it depends very much on who you are, where you are, and what you're trying to achieve. Again, the first question I ask, okay, what are we trying to do? So what's the objective? What is the objective we're trying to achieve? So again, let's go back to weight loss. I want to lose 10 kilos in the next 2 months. Boom, done. Okay, right. Well, what principles are behind this? There's already said stress loss, toxicity, nutrients, hormone balance, to name just a few. And then look at your own lifestyle and identify, okay, well, which of these is out of whack? For some of you, it's going to be really, really obvious. Well, I hate my job. I wake up every morning at 3 o'clock with that churning in the pit of my stomach, dreading going to work. That's fairly, that's about one, and straight away, that's a low-hanging fruit. Let's tackle that. I'm not saying that will be the be-all and the end-all, but if you're that stressed and you're trying to lose weight, good luck. And there's multiple reasons for that, but very, very simply, stress raises cortisol, which raises blood sugar, which forces the body to release insulin, which forces the body to store fat. So if you're stressed and trying to lose weight, good luck. And again, this is just talking about one particular goal. If your goal was exercise, it would be a similar thing. If you're trying to get exercise and you're stressed, it's not going to work. So I would identify the most major points based on the principles that I give you through these videos, and then start drilling down from there. If there's nothing obvious, then the next step is to start measuring things. Metrics, trackables. This ring here is a bit like a Fitbit. It's called an Aura ring. Tracks my HRV. It tracks daily temperature, movement, activity levels, all these sorts of things. That's a great place to start, something like that. But also, tracking other bodily functions that go on as well. And again, we give you a great idea. We get you started with basic tracking in the group. I believe the link is in the notes below this. If not, it's community.tantrumex.com. Head over there and I give you a kind of a worksheet of things that you can start tracking. Because from there, you can start to see, well, actually, my digestion's a bit wonky. My neurotransmitters might be out of line. That could be a place to start. Maybe my adrenals are a bit more knackered than I originally thought. And any one of these clues would give you a great starting place as to where to actually look first. Because what I often find with people who are trying to achieve a health goal, a performance goal, and they're really, really struggling, they're doing everything right. And I see this very often, they're doing everything right. But for some reason, they're just not achieving their goals. It's often because there's something going on under the hood, which is stopping them. So, let's say they're trying to get fit. They might be at the gym every single day working it. And that in itself is probably an issue, being at the gym every single day, because they're allowing no time for recovery. But they're seeing no goals. And they say, okay, well, maybe they've got some underlying condition that they're not even cognizant of, which is causing this lack of results in the system. Maybe it's because they've got the principles wrong. And again, if they're going to the gym every single day, that certainly is having the principles wrong, because they're leaving no time for recovery. And it's recovery when we get stronger. So again, I want to open these up, make sure that people understand what I'm talking about. So if you do have questions I'm going along, drop them in the chat as we go. And I've got a few questions here, I believe. Right, Julie 32 works out every single day and yet still struggles to drop the weight. Now again, this is a classic, and it's actually funny because I had a client called Julie years and years ago who first put me onto this. She was working out all the damn time in the gym all the time, and just couldn't shift a muffin. Had a muffin top, which is that kind of spare tire that hangs over your trousers, and just couldn't shift it. What was going on? And at the time, this was kind of way back when, in my early days of being a personal trainer. And my solution was, look, we need to work hard. And so was gym twice a day, and things got worse. And it wasn't until she went on holiday. She went on, she said, right, okay, so I'm going to go on holiday. I'm not going to work out for a month because I'm going to Italy for a month, and I may, I'll probably lay off. I might do the odd workout if I'm lucky, but I'm going to eat pasta, I'm going to eat ice cream, I'm going to enjoy myself, and we'll start again when I get back. She came back, and she did no exercise. I think she did maybe 2 workouts while she was there. A lot of swimming, a lot of walking, but nothing really extravagant that you would class, or that we would have classed at the time as exercise. Came back, the entire spare tire had just vanished. And again, it was because we were ignoring one of the principles. The methods we were using were correct. Go to the gym, exercise, but we were ignoring the principles of fitness, of weight loss, which states that if you are in a state of stress, in a state of stress. Why? Because we were forcing her into the gym every day, sometimes twice a day, making her body feel like it was being chased by it, working into exhaustion most of the times. And she was like, her body was just going, what's going on? Why on earth are we training so hard? Are we being chased by tigers all the time? This must be a stressful situation. I'm going to need this fat to protect me, to store all the bad stuff that's going on. So we didn't ditch the fat. So she went on holiday, relaxed, chilled out, sat on a beach, drank a few pina coladas, went for a swim. The body, cool. We're now living in this paradise. We're super relaxed. Everything's cool. Let's ditch the fat because we don't need it anymore. So that for me was the real aha moment of this idea of principles versus methods. And if you don't get the principles right, then you can start using the wrong method. Wrong results, the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. In this case, gaining weight rather than losing weight and getting fitter. So again, I come back to this idea of principles versus methods. The principles are so much more important. If I can convey to you guys the principles of performance, the principles of high performance, especially as we get that bit older, especially as we get past 40, because they become even more important. Because I say up to 20, up to 30, you can kind of do what you want. And you get the principles wrong, get the method slightly wrong. It's not going to make that big a difference. After 40, if you get this wrong, you are going to notice it very, very quickly. So this is why we focus on principles, especially on these chats. I say in the group, which again, the link is down below, community.tantramex.com. I can go a bit more into the methods because I get to know you better. And this is why I've set the group up. So you can come in, you can ask me, I can get to ask you about your specific circumstances. We can drill into it a bit deeper, and then we can start talking about methods. But I'm not going to start talking about methods really on YouTube, on Facebook, on any of these social platforms, on Instagram. Because what I did when I first started, I followed gurus who, I'm not saying that I'm a guru, please, don't think of me as a guru. I don't want to be. But I was following these other people who were giving methods. And what I would do inevitably, because I'm stupid, and I'm sure you're not as stupid as I was, but what I'd do is they'd tell, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Go and try this particular method. And a great example of this is Bulletproof Coffee. I don't know if you heard it, butter in your coffee in the morning. It's a method. It's a method towards weight loss. For some people, it is absolutely incredible. It's the greatest solution since sliced bread, and it means that they can drop weight. it literally sends them on a spiral towards death. And this is what it did to me. I started drinking Bulletproof Coffee 2-3 times a day, and it made me really, really ill to the point where I nearly had to have my gallbladder out. Now, luckily, I've kind of reversed that afterwards with other things. But this isn't me kind of slagging off Bulletproof or Dave Asprey or anything like this. For some people, that is an amazing method that works really, really well. For others, it really isn't. But what I would do, I'd take something, and that's not the only example, it's just one that springs to mind right now. I would take that and say, great, okay, wait, that's a great method. I'm going to do it 4 times a day. And I was doing this with not just that method, but every single other method that was put out there. So I was just doing all these different things. And I'm wondering why the hell it wasn't working, why I was more stressed, why my body was going backwards, why my performance levels were going backwards. This was when I was younger, this was when I was 30. Whereas when I understood the principle of what I was able to have my own methods towards my own goal. So that's kind of the key that I want, and I've been very long-winded here, but it's great to see so many of you on the stream, so I'm kind of keeping going, because it's kind of encouraging for me. That's the message that I want to give you today, guys. Try and focus on the principles of what it is you're trying to achieve. I will certainly do that on these kind of wider distribution platforms. Again, if you want to dial into methods, that's what the group is for. Link is in the description. If you want to get started on your own journey, and the best place that I can think of starting, I created to start, is my free book. It's just literally been released, called Post 40 Secrets. You can grab it at the URL there. It's free. It's absolutely free. Get access to that there. Thank you for being here, guys. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you follow our page, do all the usual banana stuff, la 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 la. I will catch you in the next video. We've got another one going live on Wednesday at the same time. Not sure what we're going into then, because that's this afternoon's job. I will chat to you then. Thank you very much for being here. It's great to see these shows starting to gain a bit of traction. And I will speak to you all on Wednesday, or in the group. I'm in the group every single day. Join us in there. I will speak to you there. Ciao for now. Cheers, guys. Goodbye.